All right, everybody, we're going to give it just another minute. If you guys want to get cozy, grab some popcorn. This should be mildly entertaining or wildly, depending on where your barometer's at. Let's see. All right, I'm going to get started, I think, right at 10:03, just to be a little bit late for everybody. Ooh, Anne from North Carolina. Nice to have you, Anne. I'm counting it down. I can't see all your faces, but I would assume you're all dressed as fabulous as I am today. Okay, 10:02 for a few more seconds. All right. 10:03. Welcome everybody to another incredible Connections Team event. My name is Melissa Sanders. I am the Human Good Community Life Manager, which means I get to work with the incredible life enrichment and activity professionals at our communities. And I am so excited to host today's meeting. I'm going to make my intro as short as I can, but also I'm really excited to welcome you all and introduce the incredible Erica. Before I give Erica all the attention, though, I want to give a plug to the Connections team that I'm really proud to be on. If you hadn't caught on in the comments, this is the whole Human Good family here. These events bring people together from across the country around dynamic speakers and topics. So naturally, we include residents, team members, all of our communities, our LPCs, our affordable housings, its life plan, as well as residents who just cannot wait to move in and be a part of this Human Good family. So we're so grateful for you all joining us for what seems to be a better and better event every time. The Connections event is also getting ready to bring you your Veterans Day tribute video, and you will all, everybody on here, you'll all be invited again to our New Year's Eve toast with our awesome CEO, John Cochran. If you have questions about the Connections team or events, you can always reach out to me or the Connections team. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and keep going. If you haven't contributed, please start dropping those teams in the chat. If you think of any embarrassing or great questions that you want for Erica, let's go the embarrassing route, though, because she is a comedian. Let's keep it funny. Any questions you'd like to ask Erica or our other special guests today, please drop them in the comments. And at the end of today's session, I will go ahead and pick a few questions from the audience. All right. With that, everybody, welcome to What's So Funny About Women in Football. This program is about finding a way through life's obstacles with relationships and humor. And for Erica, football.
Can hear us, so it's connected on my phone.
Hi guys, if I can hear you on your phone, if you can go ahead and mute that, that'd be wonderful. A lot of feedback. All right, here we go. We'll keep going. Erica, we're just testing you. We're trying to make you nervous, really build this up. Let's see. Let's talk about Erica, also known as Rookie Hollywood. That is her stage name. Erica is a content creator and the personality, pretty much, of the Los Angeles Rams. She's worked with the NFL Network for what looks like most of her adult life. She's a proud LGBTQ plus advocate. She's a professional comedian and a producer for Comedy Central for one of my favorite shows, actually. Lesser known ventures I learned while I looked into our host today, our visitor, includes work as a freelance videographer in her younger years. She's a Game of Thrones enthusiast, House Stark, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, and that matters. She's definitely Queen of the North, is definitely her superhero. And she's also spent time working as a preschool student aide. And I think most notably, and we have to talk about it a little bit, is Erica is a two-time live game show losing contestant. I don't know how that happens, but I'm going to hand it over to Erica so she can, tell me a little more about that, defend her honor a little bit.
Yeah. Melissa, thank you for that intro. I'm curious about where you got a lot of that information.
The internet is a fascinating place, and I can learn anything from your LinkedIn.
Yeah, linked. Yeah, so it sounds like a little bit of a crazy career, and I'll get into that from going from preschool to comedy to Game of Thrones enthusiast. For those that don't know, there's a lot of drama going on with the Jonas Brothers and the Queen of the North. It's like this whole TMZ thing that I'll spare you for another human good connection. Which is, it's so great to see some of your smiling faces and be here today. I'm really thankful. This is such a great opportunity, and it's really special for me as a sports fan and as someone who just like loves getting to know other people. So this is really great, and I'm really looking forward to the end of this where I get to connect with some of you as well too. Um, I will. I believe the last person who did this climbed Mount Everest blind. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a letdown today. It's just me. I haven't climbed Mount Everest, and I do have my eyesight, so big shoes to fill. But I will try my best to keep it entertaining. So I guess I can just give a little bit of a background about me. I was born and raised in Hollis, New Hampshire, so up in the Granite State. I went to the University of New Hampshire and I studied film and communications. Graduated in 2014, and I played tennis for the university, which was really fun and something that I still really love to do on my weekends and off days. And I originally I worked in a preschool and at a daycare after school, and I really wanted to be a teacher. And I kind of thought that a life of film wasn't really sustainable, or especially coming from New England, I just didn't really think that that would be an opportunity for me. So I decided to go into, the teaching route. I thought I really, love children, and I love, just meeting people and getting to create that type of stuff. So I thought that would be something I'd be really good at. And I was really good at it. And then my parents, senior year going into the University of New Hampshire, when I'd already accepted, I was like, no, I want to be a director. Well, I wasn't going to a film school. I was going to an early education program. And I sort of just flipped my life on a head at 18, as 18-year-olds tend to do. And there wasn't really a film program at UNH. So I studied communications and I had a film minor. And because I had a film minor, the film professor there was basically kind of taking me under his wing. And I still keep in touch with him, all these years later. But there would be film productions that would come into the Northeast. ESPN came in, a lot of different other small production companies, an MTV show came in, and they would naturally, for free labor, reach out to the universities and say, hey, like, we need free work from your students. Who is in your film program, and who can we help? And my film professor would just say, well, we don't really have a film program, but here's Erica. So as soon as before I even finished college, I had worked at New Hampshire Public Television. I had an ESPN show on my resume. I was driving in the snow because all the people from California for MTV didn't know how to drive the vans when it started snowing, and it was like just a flurry. I was like, guys, give me the van. It's okay. I'm built for this. So I have a lot of stuff on my resume really young. And then I got my first job on a movie with Cameron Diaz and an actor named Jason Segel, and Rob Lowe was on it. And it was a really cool experience. And still to this day in my parents' house, I have my my Columbia Pictures frame, my first paycheck from Columbia's Pictures framed on my wall. And it's still in my childhood bedroom, which is pretty special because I remember that. I think I got $100 for the 52, hours that I worked. But it was really special and really important to me, which was great. I worked in PR. I've worked in a marketing firm. I kind of worked everywhere I could to sort of get a creative lens on things. And then as soon as I graduated, the same month that I graduated college, I hopped on a flight to LAX. And my mom tells a story about how, like, the night before I left, like, she was laying in bed with me and my lip was quivering, and she was like, you don't have to go. And I said, if I don't go now, I'm never going to go. And so I ripped the Band-Aid and jumped. And I remember landing at LAX and getting a rental car and not knowing what was coming next. And it was a really exciting but scary time. It's a picture of University of New Hampshire. So pretty. So then my first job out here was on a show called Justified, which was on FX. And actually it's being rebooted right now with Timothy Oliphant, which was super fun. And as a post PA, I was just doing really boring things, which wasn't really fun. But then I got a promotion, and I was a post-production coordinator for Mr. Robot. So now I actually have a Golden Globe on my resume, which is super exciting because I did season 1 of that, which was really, really cool.
She'll get caught.
Oh,
Yeah, I
don't
think
forget
that's
to mute yourself, everybody.
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
There you go. Don't forget to mute yourself, everyone. And Mr.
That's so
Robot's
funny.
very underrated, Erica.
Yeah, it's not underrated. So it got a Golden Globe. Season 1 was amazing. But yeah, it's such a good show. It was such an experience. And I just like think back to those days of when Sam Esmail, the director, was like really kind of coming into himself. And now he is such a superstar that it was just like really, really like a great experience. So then I think this was the show, Melissa, you were referring to earlier, Drunk History. That was my following job after Mr. Robot, which was really fun. And I was still post-producing coordination there, which was great. And it was really interesting because working in post, you're working with the directors and editors a lot. And I actually got to be very close with the creator of the show, Derek Waters here. And at one of the episodes, they needed someone from, I think it was like the 1909 or something. They asked me to be in the episode with him. So I'm going to play a clip real quick. And it's me and Derek. I had the whole hair and makeup, a wig going on. It was a full set out in Santa Clarita at a ranch when we were doing this. And for those that don't know, which not a lot of people do, Drunk History is when they would get comedians very, very intoxicated. And as the storytellers would get more and more intoxicated, they would keep telling these same stories over and over again. And then we would have professional actors and comedians act out the sort of reenactments of these stories. So it was like not only a really, really fun show to watch and to be a part of, it's actually very funny because in post-production, how the show actually works is we get the comedians, more and more drunk as time goes on, and we keep having them retell the same story. So I remember days of just like going through 6 hours of footage and watching someone get more and more progressively drunk as time went on, because sometimes you can even notice if you go back now and watch some of the show, 1 minute they're very, very intoxicated, and then it's a very clear sentence. Like in 1909, they did this. And it's like, because we had to really piece together to actually make a fluid story, which was great. So let me figure out how clicking this should work. I'm going to stop sharing for a second while I get to the next page. So then after Drunk History, I decided to go to a show with Jennifer Lopez, which everyone can see that. Okay. Yeah, you can see. Perfect. So I decided to go. Now I'm a post-production supervisor. So this is kind of the boring stuff. Yes, I got to work with J-Lo. Yes, the rumors are true. You're not allowed to make eye contact with her. Unfortunately, like I've got a lot of stories like that, and can confirm J-Lo is very nice, but she means business, and you have to go through about 10 people before you can get to her. So yeah, unfortunately, she means business, and there's a reason why she is where she is. So this is sort of where my life took a shift. I was really working my way up in post-production, and I wanted to still be on that track for a director. And I thought if I started producing at the high level in Hollywood shows, I would inevitably be able to make the move over to directing. And so with all of these shows, they all have an end date. It's very much gig work. So 1 minute I'm working, and then the next I'm out of work, and I don't have, benefits. I don't have normal, days that are working and everything. So it is a bit of a, gamble on these shows. So World of Dance ends, and I had an offer at a Netflix show in post-production. And then I had an offer as a producer at the NFL Network. And at the time, I was like, if I go into the NFL, that is such a career shift for me. That is so different. Is that even getting me further away from what I want to do? But after meeting with my boss and the team that I started working with, I basically got insane creative freedom, more creative freedom than I had in my entire career. And I remember my first year at the NFL sitting around a boardroom with some very high up execs when we were going to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. And I said, I want to make picks scuba diving at the Mall of America in the aquarium. And everyone's just sort of laughing at me. And I said, no, I think that would be kind of special. And they said, okay, let's do it. So I did a full Mall of America Super Bowl shoot, pics on a roller coaster in the aquarium. The guys I worked with didn't want to get in the aquarium, so we did it next to the shark tank. But just being in a room to pitch these ideas and sort of I like to push boundaries. I like to make things fun and exciting, and I love the game of football. And like I said, I'm from New England, so I'm a diehard Patriots fan, have always been a Patriots fan. And so I knew the game, but I also knew entertainment. And I knew as this world of social media started to explode and podcasting, I really felt that like I was able to sort of push those boundaries. And so then I started working on a show called Around the NFL. And these are my four not co-host, I was their producer, but a very big part of the show, which was really great. Dan, Mark, Wes, and Greg. And this show really, really allowed me to sort of come into myself. And I created an online personality. And I've always been called Ricky Hollywood, and it's a weird name how it got started. It was just some weird cook at a restaurant I worked at back when I was 17. Erica was too hard to say, so he would just say Ricka or Ricky. And then my friends would tease me like, oh, you're going to go to Hollywood? And I was like, yeah, bet. So I went, and then it just kind of stuck. But the guys sort of started making fun of me for being Ricky Hollywood and started using that as a name on the show, which was really exciting and cool. And so it just sort of kind of spun into itself. I got to do so many cool opportunities. I know we have a Colts fan on the call, or maybe multiple. I've been to the Combine a bunch of different times. I've done live shows in London in amphitheaters full of 500 plus people. And it's been a really exciting time in my career. And from that, I created my own comedy podcast called The Broadcast Podcast with my business partner, Emma, who is one of my great friends and one of the funniest people I know. And together, the two of us just started making videos while we were at work together, because we would, do our jobs, but then the two of us together would just get into shenanigans and we would film it and put it on the internet. And it kind of created this following. And then we're like, we're just going to do a podcast. And still to this day, we still do the show, not as often as we both like, because we're both pretty busy now, which is a good thing, but it's still one of my favorite things that I've ever done. We do the show, and we got picked up. We were at one point at Podcast One Network, and then we took it to All Things Comedy. And also to the right, you'll see the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project, which was a show I produced with Greg from the NFL and comedian Anthony Jeselnik for about 4 years, which was a super cool step into the comedy world, which is something that I am very passionate about and love very much. So that was a really cool introduction into comedy fans. And I really think that my brand, if you will, is a mix between comedy and football. And so I really kind of found that niche area of the sport, because I always like to say we're not curing cancer. We're not climbing Mount Everest blind. We're playing football. So this is just, there's a way to connect with fans and how people like football and how people like to laugh, and just sort of that break from your daily life, because we all have our stress. We all have what's going on. And sometimes I just like to really immerse myself in laughter and just fun. So that's important to me. So the Rams won the Super Bowl, and then they decided to call and say, how about joining the Rams? So I went from NFL Network covering all 32 teams to covering just a team right after they won the Super Bowl, right after they had the worst losing record of a team after winning the Super Bowl, which was a very big challenge for me as a creator, because especially being funny, if I was at NFL Network, there would be a lot of things that I could do or say about the team. However, coming from the inside, it was a real challenge for me last season to really find ways to be positive about this team. And also it definitely was sort of an ethos check of like, I can't cross all of these lines and all that type of stuff. But this season we're looking way better, feeling good. It's really great right now. But so I'm a content creator for them. I do funny videos. I have a weekly show where I get to interview influencers and actors and NFL pundits and just kind of talk about the game. And I believe my next video is a code of conduct video that plays, and I'll stop it. I won't show the whole thing, but when you go to the stadium, this plays on the infinity screen for everyone to see. The Los Angeles Rams, the NFL, and SoFi Stadium are dedicated to providing a comfortable and enjoyable game day experience. Staying safe and following the rules will ensure that this is the best experience in sports, built for the best fans in sports. Fans exhibiting unruly behavior or using foul language, being overly intoxicated,
Hey, you're in my seat.
and sitting in a location other than your ticketed seat violate this code of conduct.
Are you serious? Really?
Did you see that?
I'll report it right now. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you. We don't tolerate that type of behavior at Ram's house.
Just like your favorite football players, you play an important role. Any member or guest who violates this code of conduct will be subject to ejection without refund and loss of ticket privileges for future
I didn't
games.
even do anything. It was like one glass of wine.
You gotta go.
If you see something, say something. Using your phone, text a brief description of your issue to 424-541-9222 or report it to a guest services representative. Have fun, be safe, and whatever you do, don't be like that girl. Let's go Rams! So that was really fun to create, and that's just like a little bit of insight into some of the video content creation that I do for the team. It was one of those things where we needed to create a code of conduct video, and I thought to myself that I've never been in a stadium or a concert or anything where there was a code of conduct video. The Niners chirping is getting at me, and I'm just gonna disregard the chat.
Erica, ignore it, breathe in.
I know. I'm a professional.
Block it out.
Yeah,
You
I
guys
mean, Zen,
Take the
Carol, you're
heckling
right.
down a tiny bit.
No, I love it. It fuels me. Keep it going. Keep it going. This is so great, and it just goes to show kind of like, let's see if I can click it again without it. I need to figure out Zoom because that is crazy. The video thing. So yeah, it's just very fun for me to be able to create for the Rams. And I love what I do, and every day is really exciting for me. And I want to bring on someone that's really special to me, and I believe she is already in here. So I'll bring in Lakeisha if she is here. I believe she is.
Let's see. Eric, is she already on?
I don't see Lakeisha currently.
Cool. I just texted her and she said that she was here, but maybe she is in another room. But yeah, I will talk to her real quick. Let me text her. Apologies.
While Erica is texting Lakeisha, if you've joined a call before, you already know that's the wonderful voice of Eric Williams in the background. If you don't know who Eric is, and this is your first call, Eric is all things behind the scenes, making sure that these connections events happen. So thank you, Eric. Eric always usually sticks around, just to hang out with everybody. If you have questions about Eric and his experience at Human Good, he'll be on till the end.
Awesome.
Lots of shout outs for Eric. Look at that. Eric's getting a lot of hype right now. I love it. All right, Eric, I guess just let us know when Lakeisha's in. And otherwise, Erica, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, of course.
While we're waiting. So I see lots of Rams things behind you. You're clearly, a fan at this point. I'm wearing a lot of Rams things. At the end of the day, are your pajamas Rams or are they Patriots?
Well, that depends. Did everyone sign NDAs before joining this call?
This session is being recorded.
It's being recorded. So
Yeah.
yes, I sleep, eat, breathe Rams. I love the Rams. I only watch Rams games. I watch no other New England teams or
Yeah.
any other team.
Yes.
I am strictly Rams, and I love the Rams. So
That was
yeah, no,
really good. Yeah.
yeah. I can sell it. I can sell it for sure. No, I love it. I love my team. I try to watch all games every
Yeah.
weekend just because it helps me prep for the season and it helps me prep for what else is coming down the line. So yeah, I do love the teams. Oh, there is my beautiful friend
There
Keisha.
she is.
Hello.
We can be nonsense later. Lakeisha, nice to meet you. I'm gonna let you two take it away and just be in awe of the both of you for the rest of this.
Hey Keish.
Hey, sorry I was in the wrong room.
I can't even get like videos to play on Zoom. It's like a whole thing. We're not off to a good start. No, it's a great start. Keisha, it's so good to see you, first of all.
Same.
I miss you so much. I was giving a little bit of background, and I was just looking at these pictures, and I just love some of these memories that we've created over the years. And I wanted to give you, a little bit. I just gave the whole run of the mill about my career and how I got started. But first of all, look at those fire pics. So I would love to hear sort of your journey through the NFL and how you are also a Rams fan, which we'll get into as well. But I would love for you to give some of your insight on how you got your start.
I actually started in local news. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I was a producer, reporter, and I always kind of love sports, love the Rams, and just was always trying to get to the sports side. So it took me several years, but I finally got hired at NFL Network as an editor. So I was working on the writing side, and that's kind of how I got to meet Erica. But now I'm a feature producer, so I'm back to the video side, which is what I love to do more.
Yeah. So for when you say features producer, if you tell someone you're a features producer, you did videos on, I know you did something really special for 9/11, and you've worked with firefighters. Like, is there a story that you felt like, take us through sort of what that means when you say features producer?
So how I kind of explain to people, like if you're watching sports online, like let's say like a pre-show and they play something about like the player behind the helmet where it's like, an emotional story of like the background of where they were raised and everything else. That's the kind of stuff that I produce. So right now I'm working on a series called NFL Generations. So basically I get, like a player that played back in the day with the current player, and they sit down and they talk about, what was it like playing back, in the 80s and versus today. And then they sit down and also break down film. So that's been really fun to do. I just finished a piece with Eagles wide receiver AJ Brown and Eagles legend Mike Quick. So it was cool to kind of learn more about Mike Quick because I wasn't that familiar with him, but it's a really fun piece that I get to actually learn a lot of the history of the game, which I didn't know before. So I'm having a lot of fun doing that.
That's amazing. So I want to talk about your love story with Chris. I will say Chris unfortunately passed away to cancer. You have a beautiful boy with him, Lincoln, who is just prospering into the cutest little mix of you both, which is such a blessing. And someone that I love dearly. There's a photo of me and him right over my left shoulder. He is with me all the time. I love the story of how football sort of brought you guys together, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Yeah, we met in the newsroom. He was a writer slash podcaster and I was an editor. So he would write things and I would copy edit it. And, just working together, we knew of each other, but then we started playing softball, which Erica was a part of that softball team. And that's when we just really became like great friends and ended up falling in love.
But you didn't want it at first.
No, not at first.
You kind of kept them.
Yes, because I don't date people at work and stuff. So I was very just like standoffish, but you can't help what the heart wants. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so Chris had a bout with cancer that he beat the first time. and then you guys got engaged, and I was able to be at your wedding, and those photos are all over my walls as well. We had the most amazing time, and then you got pregnant with Link, and then Wes was taken from us way too soon, and it's funny to me because when I think of humor and I think of football and I think of the love of the game, I always think Wes. I always think how he was the most prolific writer, and the way that he would talk about the game and the way that he would bring people together with his words, but also his personality. I mean, we always talk about how Wes would be at a bar and the most eclectic people, he collected eclectic people, and he had this little cast of characters, and that was Wes. It was like, it didn't matter how old you are, it didn't matter. His name was Chris Wessling, so we call him Wes, Carol, which is, I should have said that, I'm sorry.
I think they
it was
figured it out.
yeah. It was just he was such an amazing person, and he taught me so much about the game, and I love how like humor and football and like his zest and love for life like brought you two together, and to be able to witness part of your love story like that is one of my most like treasured memories.
Yeah, to end up with someone who loved football even more than I did was amazing because, like you mentioned, like his history and his knowledge and the way that he would write articles were so beautiful. Like even to me, like he would the way yeah, it's hard to describe, but he would just have this way of like telling you about like some facts or something, but also like the history slid in there. Like he was a beautiful writer.
Incredible writer, and I implore anyone that's interested after this to look up some of Chris Wessling's articles, because he really wrote almost like in a novel way. Like you
Yeah.
weren't reading a game recap, you were reading like literature, and the way that he found so much beauty in the game. It's just something that I treasure a lot. That we named, when we moved to the building in Inglewood, we named the studio the Chris Wessling Podcast Studio after him, and this is the 5 of us at that studio, which is really so special to see. And Lakeisha, I know you're back in St. Louis now, but every time you're there, what does it mean like walking past that hallway?
Sorry, you guys. It's beautiful because it's just knowing when they started the podcast and how much it grew, it was just beautiful to be a part of and to watch it. So when they named the podcast studio after him, that just warmed my heart up, because whenever I'm in LA and I get to see it, it makes me happy, makes me sad. I'm actually having them add some more things to the name that's outside of there, because I notice sometimes when I come back that when there's like new people or like interns and stuff, they don't understand the significance of it. So I wanted to add like his date and just like a quote and a signature, so like when people see it, they would know that it's just not like a name with a face in it. So sorry, you guys.
No, I love I think it's so beautiful that we're able to still be emotional about this, and it's because he was so special, and so incredible. And but even before I joined the Rams, I remember I was in a hot yoga class, and I was just laying on my mat, and Keisha, you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And I was really torn, because leaving NFL Network meant leaving this group and this everything
Family.
that we had gone through together. And it's a family, and it was really pulling on my heartstrings. Like, do I take a job that might fulfill me more creatively? And I was ready for the next step, but I felt this tie that I wasn't able to let go. And so I'm laying on my yoga mat during the meditation part at the end, and I just like single tears falling out of my face. And I remember just thinking to Wes, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to leave. I don't know if this is meant for me or like what I'm doing. And Dan starts the show with, a room full of heroes. And so we kind of, the fan base, and it's a massive show, and the reach is huge, and the fans are so diehard, but they call us, and me included still to this day, which is just surreal, but heroes, and we're one of heroes. And so, I'm sitting on my yoga mat, and I'm just silently in tears, just sort of taking this all in, and I'm like, am I supposed to go? Like, am I supposed to leave right now? And then I get in my car and turn on my car, and it was Sirius radio playing, and it was a song called Heroes that was playing when I got in the car. And it was one of those moments where we talk about humor. It's like I laughed. I just literally he was, and maybe this is crazy, but I don't think so, and I truly believe it. He was saying, Erica, get, like, you were meant for more than, like, do this, like, go. And that moment, to me, I texted Keisha right away, and there's been other moments where I felt him so strongly, and I know you have too, and it's just, it was such a, he is just one of the most important people in my life.
Yeah, I get those type of signs like all the time. And at first I thought, like, am I crazy? Am I making up in my head? But the moments that it happens, it's just like, no, like, I'm not crazy. Like, these are definitely signs from him. So
yeah,
listen to the signs.
Exactly. And I believe a piece that was produced, and how we'll kind of tie this all together. And Keisha, I downloaded the video of the Super Bowl run, just so you wouldn't have to say it. The year that Chris passed, the next year, the Bengals, which was Wes's team, and the Rams, which is Keisha's team, made it to the Super Bowl in LA. And it was such a, we talk about signs, and we talk about just this family and this love, and everything that could have gone wrong went right for both teams to get there. And it really did feel like it was Wes, just moving pieces around. And Wes's family from Cincinnati was out for the game. Keisha had a half Bengals, half Rams jersey. It was like, I don't care who wins, like, this moment. And so I have this video that will explain sort of the climax of this season.
9 yards of real estate will determine this playoff game.
His favorite team was the Bengals. When the Bengals were in the playoffs, they won the first game, and that's all I honestly wanted.
And after 31 years, the drought is over.
They just continued to win, and each time it just, I feel this closeness somehow to my husband through this game. I'm a Rams fan, and I'm thinking in my head, like, there's no way that, like, both of our teams could be in the Super Bowl together. Like, there's just no way.
On Championship Sunday, the Bengals found a way.
When the Bengals won and made it to the Super Bowl, I just lost it, and I couldn't believe it. For this to happen after he passed, it's such a beautiful thing. To have it actually happen is just one of the most magical things. As a fan, I'm gonna always remember this season forever, no matter who wins. Like, it's very, very special to me.
So yeah, that now I'm losing it too, because that video,
I don't think I really knew what today was going to be all about.
I know, it's so beautiful how just he has changed our lives. And so to see that culmination of the Rams win the Super Bowl, which is exactly how he would have scripted it too, it was really, really incredible. And I want to kind of just not only showcase you and your career and all that you've done, but all that you've overcame, not only as a woman, not only as a woman of color in a man's industry, but as someone you are the strongest people I know, and as someone who just has beat all odds to just be at the success story that you are. And I'm just, I want to end the call with just sort of not only a thanks to you, Keisha, but how you've literally changed the game for so many of us. And I think it's like such a blessing to share your story, and you are such an inspiration to me and to so many people.
No, thank you. I lean on a lot of like, my friends and family. Like that's where I get my strength from. Like it's crazy how you can move across the country and not have any family in California, and then all of a sudden, like your coworkers, like I will always love, like so many of them just became my family. So I'm very, very blessed with that.
Before we open it up to a Q&A, and I'll end on a lighter note, is there a piece or advice to people that would want to get into sports, or is there a piece that you're most proud of, or is there a moment in your career that you look back on where you think, women are changing the game of sports?
I would probably say like never give up, because I know like I tell people this, especially people that are getting into the business. Like my first interview at NFL Network with NFL Network was in 2012, and I didn't get hired until 2015. And it's like I could have easily just been like, okay, well, that's that. I guess I'm not supposed to be there. And I just, kept applying, kept, networking, trying to find people who actually worked there to like send my resume so they can actually put my resume in front of a hiring manager, because I knew that I was qualified for these positions, and it just wasn't panning out, and just not giving up.
Yeah. So Rams predictions for the rest of the year?
Gosh, I started off low and then just kind of like, wait a minute, this season ain't too bad. It's more so awkward for me being back in St. Louis, because it's just like, wait a minute, I left right before they left out for LA for the second time. And then now that I'm back, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't like this. Like I'm in Chiefs country now. So it's just like,
I know.
My Rams fans.
No, you're in Swift country
Yes.
now. Taylor Swift. I'd love to open it up for questions, if anyone has any before we go.
Yes. So if anybody has any questions, please drop them in the chat. Let's not all unmute at once. Erica, I do have some questions on the back end that were pre-submitted by some enthusiastic residents and team members. I'll start with the slightly more humorous one right now. This one's for Erica. Erica, at what point did you know and feel confident in the fact that you were funny?
Oh,
everybody has that confidence. When did it click for you? Like, wow, it's working.
No, I still don't feel confident that I'm funny. I think you have to be a little I think you have to be a little crazy. I think you have to really not care, and you have to my mom has this hilarious saying that I'll paraphrase, because she used to use a bad word. But if you throw enough blank against the wall, something's got to stick. And so that's kind of my motto, where I get it from my mama. You got to just keep trying, and you have to be okay when you fail. And I fail a lot. There are a lot of jokes that don't land. There are a lot of ideas that don't land. There are a lot of things that don't land. But it's the ability to get back up and keep trying. And I love to make people laugh. And if I can make someone laugh, like, then I feel great. And so that's sort of where I come from that aspect, I guess.
Well, we think you're pretty funny. I mean, I think today it's going pretty well. People seem to like you in the chat. I hope you both are seeing you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Let's see. It looks like I don't see a hand up, but I'm hearing there is one. Let me see.
Lubliner.
Josh.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Thanks. Hi, Erica. Thanks for this. This has been great.
Of course.
Just a quick question for you. So you said you were a Patriots fan to begin with, right?
Yes.
So I'm assuming you're also a fan of Tom Brady.
Yes.
As am I. So when he moved to the Buccaneers and they were playing the Rams in the playoffs for a spot in Super Bowl, which, by the way, fantastic game, comeback kid, almost beat the Rams. The Rams came through with a last-minute field goal to win the game. Right. So in that case, who were you really rooting for?
I have to say the Rams. you know, I wanted that for them so badly at that point in time. But I'm always going to be a Brady supporter. You know, you separate the art from the artist. I can look the other way for a lot of things that he does. But I had 20 amazing years as a New England fan and still do. And it's been really special for me. But in that case, yeah, I did want the Rams. It was selfish. You know, he already got his other ring without Belichick. Like he can wait. He can wait.
Right. Well, thank you.
Of course.
I've got a question for Lakeisha here. And then Erica, if you would like to also answer the question after her, you'll have some prep time. So
Sure.
one of the questions at Human Good we often ask, and it's a continuous theme, not even really a question, a statement is, what's next? So Lakeisha, what's next for you? What's your next goal?
Good gosh, it's hard to answer that right now. I'm so in the thick of the season. My goal is just, you know, today finish a 3-minute piece for GDM on Sunday. So it's kind of hard to look too far. I think if we're talking work goals, like I just started the Generation Series this season. This is my first one. So I'm looking forward to after the off season, like really, you know, looking at which players that I'm going to interview in the off season. Cause I was kind of like, I joined it this season just because someone had left. So it was a new project. So I'm looking forward to kind of like really take time in the off season to kind of do a little bit more research, and then you're not rushed during the year. Hold on one second, you guys. So I'm sorry about that. It was my mom and my sister getting too loud. So just basically using the off season as a time to really like start from square one and just get ready for the season instead of being thrown into it.
Yes. For my own selfish reasons, we actually have a community up in Yakima. Shout out to the terraces at Summit View. Many of them are fans of Cooper Kupp. He's from there. So, I mean, if you're going to pick somebody, I'm sure they would be happy to like host you. We could, you know, work with you. So
Okay.
we're making it happen. Erica, did you want to jump on and answer that question before the next one? Erica, I don't hear you. It doesn't show you muted, but you have. Can anybody else hear Erica? No. Okay, Erica, this is not the Erica show anymore until you fix your mic. If you want to turn it off, turn it on. I'm not IT, but that's how we fix things. Let's see. She'll be back. Erica, I'm going to throw you a few questions here that are applicable to both. So what do you focus on during the off season outside of work?
For me, outside of work, just kind of like recharging, because when the season is here, it's just like it's stressful. It's like a lot. So like I try to also like unwind because, you know, for mental health and everything, like it's just the seasons can take a toll and just everything is just like go and different energy, but injuries, like everything just goes crazy. So whenever it's done, it's like, whew, we made it through. Okay.
Great. Yeah.
Like,
do you do hot yoga with Erica? Is that how you decompress?
I don't do it with her, but I do hot yoga. Like, and I wasn't a yoga person at all before like a year ago. And it's incredible how much like these yoga poses can really like help with stress, with just, yeah, I'm a yogi fan now.
There's Erica. We can hear you giggling.
You still got me?
Erica,
okay.
What's next? And what do you do during the off season for yourself?
There really isn't an off season for me. We're kind of, you know, we've got draft, we've got combine first, then draft, and then there's all these different activities. I love to travel. That's definitely my first go-to. So I was in Spain recently. I went to Denver for the weekend this weekend because we had an away game. So I try to make the most of my time because, you know, time is short. And so I don't want to spend any moment I don't have not doing what I love. So if I can do football from anywhere, watch the games, I'm always going to make time to, you know, make sure I'm traveling, seeing family, seeing friends. Like that is really what fuels me. So
I'm glad you mentioned that though, Erica, because it's like the off season is like very, very, very small because the next thing you know, it's like combine and it's the draft and it's just like, wait a minute, schedule release, the season's starting and it's just like, oh my gosh, where did the time go?
It never stops.
All right. I mean, the questions are going to keep coming for a little bit longer. It's only 10:52 and you two are so awesome. So let's see. In the chat, we've got Erica. How did you handle the stress between production jobs when first moving to LA? Was the next one always lined up for you?
Definitely not. How did I handle the stress? Wine. Cheap wine because I was out of work. Many phone calls to my parents crying, saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I thought about waitressing at some point. It was, what's the saying? It's like when you have the time, you don't have the money. And when you have the money, you don't have the time. So I would save my money while I was working to sort of supplement me while I wasn't working. I think the longest I ever went without work was 3 months, which was really a lot as like a 23-year-old in a city across the country from all of her, friends and family. But yes, somehow I was pretty good. I got in with a kind of production company that started, like, it was basically my Justified family, and me and all the other assistants started out at the same time. And now one of them's a showrunner, one of them's a writer, one of them's a director. And it's kind of cool to see all of our careers get to the same point at the same time, even though we're all really different, So I'm like, hey, I'm going to be on the CBS lot. They'll put a pass in for me. Hey, I want to go to the Rams game. It's just funny, different trajectories. But, that Justified family is really kind of what set me up for success. Because you kind of stick with writers that they're starting a new show, or the showrunner's got a new show. And so, yeah, it was stressful. There were many tears throughout those years, for sure.
Erica, did I ever mention to you that Justified was one of the shows that Chris introduced me to whenever he had cancer the first time, that we would like watch together?
No way.
Yeah. And when you mentioned that, when I moved back to St. Louis, handyman that I like use from time to time worked on the show. I can't remember his name right now, but I want to ask you to see if you know him, because he was an actor. So
Oh my gosh, what talk about
no.
Wild. Yeah, that Justified family really set me up for success, and really thankful to them.
All right, Erica, and another one for Lakeisha. Erica, I'm going to tell you yours in advance so you can prep for this, but we're going to swap over to Lakeisha. So Erica, what I'm going to ask you in a minute is for you to share about your game show experiences and why you think you just can't win. Tell us about that in just a minute. Stay tuned. For Lakeisha, how do you balance being a mom and then also working in this industry where I feel like you're probably having to put in twice as much work as everybody else? Is your kid just like obsessed with football also and like going with you to work, or what does that look like for you?
Man, I swear, like, I was not mentally prepared to, like, when you become a parent, you think you know what it's going to be like, but it is way harder than you could ever imagine. But it's so rewarding though too. But luckily I'm able to work from home, because that helps right now as a single mom. My kid's in daycare. If not, then he would be here climbing on me, trying to see who I'm talking to. But it's just, he loves football. I forget what we were watching I was listening to the podcast because I went to Cincinnati to visit my in-laws, and I was listening to the ATN podcast, and they always start the Sunday recap with highlights from the game, and like he would be in the back seat yelling touchdown. I'm just like, this is so funny. So I hope that he ends up having our same passion for football.
Love that. And Erica, please, just, you got 4 minutes left today to really tell us, is this on purpose? Are you owning it? Do you get some weird glory out of not winning? I just want to know where your head's at.
Yeah, no, I am a certified loser. Keisha, I haven't even told you guys this, but I taped another game show last week, and I came in second again. So, there's actually the picture I keep talking about. I have all these photographs on down my hallway, and there's a picture of Lakeisha, Wes, and two of our other friends, Colleen Wolf, who works at NFL Network as well, and her husband. And they have a cake that says like weakest link Erica, because I was on the weakest link with Jane Lynch. And it was when, Chris was sick again, and he has his mask on, and they all have masks on, but they wanted to watch my game show loss together. And they got a cake for it and everything. And that's a photo that I treasure too. The weakest link, I lost. I came in second. I lost about $50,000. And I think about it every single day. and what I would have done with that money. And so actually a casting director from the same show, and that was in 2020, reached out to me and was like, do you want redemption? We're doing another trivia show and it's called Split Second. And there's only 3 people this time, not 12 that I had to knock off one by one. And it was trivia, and I watched the show, and you know, my creative partner Emma and I, we studied the show, and we kind of walked through all the different, you know, tactics and stuff. And I went on the show, and it's kind of mental warfare. They like keep you in a room, they take your phone, they take your Apple Watch. You can't even read a book because like that could be have clue. I don't really get how that works. But I finally went on at like 5:30 at night, and I had been at the studio since 6:15 a.m. So it had been 12 hours. I'm super caffeinated. I was pacing at one point. At one point I was doing squats just to try to like stay, you know, present. And I was with, you know, two other women. One of them was a mom of 2. So then I was like kind of in my head, like she should probably take this money, like not me. And then there was another girl who was like a creative director. I was like, I'm fine. I just got to worry about the mom, you know? And it was a really, really fun show, but you only have a split second. And if you don't have an answer, you just have to say an answer. And the host of it was in the movie Pitch Perfect. He was with Elizabeth Banks as like one of the commentators in Pitch Perfect, John Michael Higgins or something. He was really funny. And I just knew that I wasn't going to win at some point, that I just started to become as silly as possible. And I cannot wait to see how they edit this, because I was unhinged. Like he was doubled over the podium laughing at one point, because I just knew that it wasn't in the cards for me, and I'm just accepting my fate as a second place loser. And I think that's just that you just sometimes life gives you lemons, and so you go on a game show.
I think that's called winning. It's winning. It's just a different kind of winning. I see Troy says painful, like the tuck rule. There's the comments have a lot going on in here.
When does this air though, Erica?
I don't know. I think it'll be a few months. So I'll make sure to post about it and send it. I cannot wait to see how they edit this, because it's my mom isn't going to be proud of some of the things that I said on that show if they make the air. So it's going to be tough.
I was going to say, send us the link, but we'll just see how it goes.
Well, it's on the Game Show Network. How bad could it be,
Right? Carol says she's thinking game shows were your antidote to sporadic employment.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I fund my. No, I didn't get anything. I walked away with $0. I lost a day of work and I lost my sanity. So really, it hasn't been good for me. But I did have the producers ask me if I would go on a few other game shows. So I think I might make that my next career pivot. So stay tuned.
Just game show after game show. Yeah.
Just loser, just habitual loser.
Own it. Sweatshirts, t-shirts. I would wear one. It'd be great.
Perfect.
Ladies, before we wrap this up, any last thing that either of you would like to add?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone. I when I texted Keisha to join me on this, I said the last guy that did this climbed Mount Everest blind. So we've got big shoes to fill. So yeah, it's been really, really special, and I've been honored to be able to share my story and our story. My dad just in the chat said, "Mom is listening." So yikes. I'm gonna get a phone call.
That was a direct chat just to you, Erica. So yeah, pay attention. Yeah.
No, Erica, thanks so much for inviting me. Like this was awesome.
All right. Well, everybody here at Human Good really appreciates you guys. I am very comfortable speaking on their behalf today. Lots of love in the comments. Again, I hope you're seeing those. If not, take a second to scroll through. But we really appreciate you both taking the time out of your clearly incredibly busy lives to be here with us. And we hope we can have you back on. I look forward to that Cooper Cup interview. If you could do it early next year, that'd be great. You just let us know. And go Rams.
Go Rams.
Yes, go Rams.
There we go. I'm getting lots of looks in the background, but that's okay. All right, everybody have an incredible day. This is being recorded, so it will be available. There will be a link for our residents to watch this later if you loved it so much or you missed out at the beginning. It is being recorded. All right, lots of love.
Thank you.
You're getting all kinds of waves, all the stuff. I don't know if you can see everybody or the comments right now, but you should.